afternoon, everyone. A warm welcome to IRX Residency and Citizenship Conclave Virtual Edition. It's great to have you all joining us from different countries, along with our esteemed speaker, together on this platform. Looking at these challenging times, we at GMN Media have put together this platform as an opportunity to educate all our esteemed investors, investment bankers, lawyers, immigration and real estate consultants about attractive citizenship and residency programs on offer. This presentation will be for 15 minutes, followed by 10 minutes of Q&A. I would request all our attendees to be on active speaker mode. During time of Q&A, all attendees are requested to click the raise your hand button on your screen and you will be allowed to ask your question. We will unmute you so that you can ask your question. Since we only have 10 minutes, in case you didn't get your chance to ask your question or your query remains unanswered, the presenter will be available to speak to you in their virtual booth at the IRX Residency and Citizenship Virtual Exhibition. We will post the link on the chat for your reference. Without further delay, I would like to introduce our presenter, Mr. Duncan Stowe, Managing Director at Stowe Co, Dominica. He is going to present on why Dominica is the #1 CBI program for 3 years in a row. Over to you, Duncan.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. And it is a pleasure for me to be here with you and our viewing audience. I just thought, by way of introduction, I should let the viewers know that prior to dealing with the main substance of the subject at hand, that is Dominica 3 years in a row, give you a brief introduction into the country and just a taste of its ruggedness, its splendor, and its beauty. Let's have a little video first.
Music, how to unleash your softest fears to a foreign shore. We glisten here like new treasures. We who wrung our hands in the wrath of hurricanes. We who have been stripped bare and still bloom. We bend with the waves and wade with mountains at our backs. We dance in the rain and love in the heat. We listen the way only we know. We see further than we're taught, and we use the land to spell our names. We hold joy with open palms, and laughter comes like morning, every tune, particular but sure. Succumb to the urge nipping at your joints. We are here, and we've been waiting on you. So do something different. Come, rediscover Dominica.
An invitation there for you to visit Dominica, rediscover Dominica, either as a visitor, and of course, we certainly hope that either through you or your clientele, you could visit Dominica one of those days as a citizen. Of course, the question often comes up, where is Dominica located? Dominica, you will see this red inscription, Dominica. It's situated smack in the middle of the archipelago, that's the island chain. We refer to the island chain, the greater, some parts of the greater and the lesser Antilles as the West Indies. Of course, those of you who follow cricket would know of the likes of some of the greats, Alvin Kali Sharan, Clive Lloyd, Vivian Richards, Brian Lara, of course, Chris Gayle, and the list could go on and on and on and on and on. Some of our legends in terms of cricket. But the subject is not cricket today, it's for another occasion. And this is Dominica, part of the Caribbean, part of the West Indies. We are located smack in the middle between the French islands of Martinique to the south and Guadeloupe to the north. Just about 3 hours direct flight could take you into Dominica from Florida. And we often say that we ought not to be mistaken for the Dominican Republic. If you look up north, you look at that map, you will see the Dominican Republic. It's part of an island. It's a former colony of Spain. It's Spanish speaking. It shares the island with Haiti. It's way up north next to San Juan and Jamaica. Dominica is further down south in the middle. So we have Dominica, which is my country of birth, the country that we're speaking of today in terms of the citizenship, and we have the Dominican Republic. Of course, I just thought also that we could touch on a little bit of the historical background. They say we were discovered in 1492 by Christopher Columbus. He was on a mission for the Queen of Spain, and he stumbled on Dominica. We know that's a historical fallacy. It's not true, because if you look at the two groups of persons there, what they referred to back then as the Caribbeans, today we refer to them as the Kalinago. They were the first set of people there, together with the Arawak Indians coming from all the way up from South America, and some of them from Central America. These were the first persons who discovered Dominica, and not Christopher Columbus, but the history books will tell you that Christopher Columbus discovered Dominica in 1492. And of course, over the years, there was a lot of what the French would call la guerre, or the English would call war, between the British and the French. A number of the islands exchanged hands on numerous occasions. They would sign their treaties, exchange, and then fight again, and then they exchange. Of course, Dominica exchanged hands upwards of 5 times between the French and the British. And finally, we, for a number of years, were within the hands or the realm of the British Empire as a colony. And we obtained our independence from the British in 1978, on the 3rd of November. The blacks, of course, came from Africa to support via the slave trade, of course, to support the economy as it related to the growing of cane and running the farms. For most of the persons who owned those estates back then were British, if you want to call them businessmen or business person or companies. A brief historical background there of Dominica. In terms of, we look at a little bit at the politics of Dominica. Our political structure is a Westminster model, of course, that parliamentary system of government. A lot of us from former British colonies have a similar structure. In Dominica, though, we have a unicameral structure. We know the principles of the rule of law prevail, and of course, the separation of powers. We have the executive, we have the legislature, and the judiciary. Similar, of course, to, as I indicated, to many a British colony, elections are held every 5 years. The person who actually holds the political power is the prime minister through his government, his party having been elected in office. And of course, we pride ourselves in Dominica that we are politically stable country. Hence, we think that we are an ideal country suited for promoting our citizenship by investment program wherever we go or when persons express some interest. And I guess hence the reason that's why we continue to stride and hold our #1 position in that area. Our economy. In Dominica, the main area of revenue, that is, tourism, agriculture, and of course, in the late 80s, early 90s, we moved into the financial services sector, and of course, the CBI, which started back then, holds its own even today. The currency in Dominica is called the Eastern Caribbean dollar. It's pegged to the US dollar at 2.7169. And we pride ourselves on the fact that the Eastern Caribbean dollar is a very strong dollar. Of course, back then, the central bank governor, they had that foresight to peg the Eastern Caribbean. That was somewhere around 1976. So since 1976, the Eastern Caribbean dollar has been pegged to the US dollar, and it holds at 2.7169. We have no issues with current exchange of foreign currency in terms of if you want to, let us suppose, withdraw as a businessman or move foreign currency as a businessman, unlike many other countries where you have a lot of restraints controlled largely by the central bank. To date, still, we do not have that type of issue as it relates to our foreign currency, or currency and foreign currency. We at Stowe Co, who are we? Duncan Stowe, that's me here with you, Dominican born and grown. And of course, the company Stowe Co is also a Dominican company, Dominican born with an international appeal, international flavor, international connection. In terms of my background, who am I? I was born in Dominica, as I indicated. Initially, my area of employment and my career path was in the media. So I worked for several years as a journalist. I worked in all media in Dominica and in 1 or 2 other Caribbean islands. And of course, went to university, did mass communication, still in the Caribbean at the University of the West Indies. And I did a career change in the 90s and worked for the government of Dominica as a state prosecutor. And then I left it and then founded my own firm, Stowe Co, which still runs today. And of course, our main practice are intellectual property, maritime, real estate, citizenship by investment. Stowe Co staff, we present to you, we are located on 58 Riverbank, Roseau in the Commonwealth of Dominica. And of course, based by our calculation of time, today, Duncan, we are celebrating 21 years as a citizenship by investment agent. The program has been around for 28 years, and I am a proud representative of the government of Dominica as an agent for the past 21 years. And over those years, we've made many connections. Of course, we pride ourselves on the commitment, integrity, and professionalism. It's often said, yes, that you ought not to blow your own trumpet, but we have to blow it. And I introduce His Excellency Emmanuel Nanton, head of the Citizenship by Investment Unit.
We have been the beneficiary of the last two consecutive years under one program. The ranked for number one because of the longevity of our program of experience we have, because of our solid due diligence process, because of the simplicity in application, and how efficient we organize and we operate as a unit. Stowe Associates have been around for 21 over 28 years. They know the business. They have been working with us for a number of years. They have helped us to be who we are. We look forward to our continued expansion and growth in Dominica Citizenship by Investment Unit with Stowe Associates.
Can we have this video replayed, please?
Yeah.
Because
I was just going to say that. We'll play this again, yes.
we're having some
From
difficulty.
the start. Yes.
The Dominica Citizenship by Investment program has been around for the last 28 years. 21 of those years, Duncan Stowe has been with us with his company, Stowe Associates. We have been ranked by the Financial Times of London for the last 3 consecutive years as the #1 program in the world. We are ranked for #1 because of the longevity of our program, how experienced we are, because of our solid due diligence process, because of the simplicity in application, and how efficient we organize and we operate as a unit. Stowe Associates have been around for 21 over 28 years. They know the business. They have been working with us for a number of years. They have helped us to be who we are. We look forward to our continued expansion and growth in Dominica Citizenship by Investment Unit with Stowe Associates.
That was, of course, the head of the Citizenship by Investment Unit, His Excellency Emmanuel Nanton. And I can assure you that we've had some very high marks in that regard. We have approximately 98.5% of success, and we've done hundreds of applications over that period of time. Of course, as he indicated to you, Dominica is one of the oldest and most respected programs. We were established in 1993. Initially, the investment went towards tourism and other industry projects. Most important, the program is legally entrenched in Dominica through its constitution and the Citizenship Act. It's not a fly-by-night program. It is a legal program. It is a bona fide program, the Dominica Citizenship by Investment Program. And of course, it was indicated, Mr. Nanton indicated that we are ranked #1. We were ranked #1 for the past 3 years by the Financial Times Professional Wealth magazine. And some of the areas of our strength, the minimum investment outlay, you can either do a minimum investment for the Economic Development Fund, minimum $100, or you could do your investment elsewhere in real estate. And we have very, very easy processing because of the fact that we've been doing it over the years and we've structured it and we have it right. So very, very easily, the folks at the investment unit, the CBI unit, will process your application. The due diligence analysis, yes, it is robust and it is a serious set of people who do the due diligence background checks. There is no mandatory travel, unlike in some cases, you have to spend some time in the country. This is not required on the Dominica program. So hence the reasons, of course, they say that we are #1 as we are. A lot of the areas of development have been in hotels, housing, national employment program, and of course, the government has what they call the Yes We Care program, where some of the money goes towards assisting and caring for the elderly folks. So you have two options if you want to invest. You have the direct contribution to the Economic Diversification Fund, or which is a minimum of $100,000, or you have the real estate option, the minimum investment, $200,000 in approved projects that have been approved by the government of Dominica. And this is our program. We have a group of companies, Stowe Co, and Grandance, which is Grandance Holding Limited, a Dominican company. We recently signed an agreement with the government of Dominica to do a boutique hotel. The name of the boutique hotel is Timbo's. Timbo's, we are located in, the project will be located on the southern entrance to the city of Roseau. It will be a 66-room luxury hotel targeting mainly business visit persons who come to the country. And it will be done, of course, undertaken by Grandance developers. We hoping that we could start construction of this project by mid 2021. Just a glimpse as what the project, that's the first phase, of course, one of the structures that will be going up. This is the first phase of the project to be started next year, 2021. A glimpse at the interior, and it is part of the Timbo's collection, a project from our office. Minimum investment, of course, will be $200,000 for the Timbo's boutique hotel. And again, it's an authorized project under the CBI program of the government of Dominica. And we look forward that we'll have investors from India and the environments soon. The program, that is the Citizenship by Investment program, we always refer to it as a resilient program. We're battling COVID, aren't we? All of us are battling COVID the world over, notwithstanding the fact that we are battling the COVID situation in Dominica. The program has not halted. The program continues. We found ways in Dominica. We were shut down for several weeks in Dominica, but the work continued. Persons operating from home, even in our office today, still due to the social distancing issues, we decided that no one is going to be laid off. Everyone is going to come along and be part of the team. So persons, we share these days on which persons work. However, the program continues. It continues at our office, Stowe Co, and it continues at the CBI unit. Another example, during Hurricane Maria 2 years ago, we were knocked down by Hurricane Maria. The program continued. What do? Everything is a portal-based program. Files are shared on the portal, movement of activity via the internet. The program continues. Another shot there of hurricane. And as is evident, post-Maria, what did we do with some of our monies that were received from the Citizenship by Investment program? The government embarked on a massive rebuilding drive, and houses were constructed. So our people, survival of our people, we are a resilient group. We were tested by the CBI. The CBI program was tested by Hurricane Maria, and we are tested again by COVID. But we continue to survive. We continue to show our resilience. One of the ways is through our remote operations in office and at the CBI. Some of the key benefits of the program. There's visa-free travel to over 130 countries and territories. Of course, the application process within 90 days minimum. That is once all your documents are in order. Provided that all your documents are in order, you guarantee the 90 days turnaround. Oftentimes, from my experience, persons are always missing documents, the documents are not in order, send us some documents that might have expired, hence we have to turn around. Sometimes the DD people are looking around, trying to find someone to maybe verify their address. These things cause delays. Steps, 7 steps: you choose an authorized agent, prepare your application, guided by your agent, await the results from the CBIU, receive a letter confirming that your application has been successful, make an investment payment to the option selected, receive your certificate of naturalization, confirming, of course, that you are now a naturalized citizen of Dominica. The next step, of course, your agent will process your passport on your behalf, and you are a citizen of Dominica. Thank you very much.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for your presentation. We now invite questions from the attendees. You're requested to click the raise your hand button on your screen and we'll unmute you so that you can ask your question. We already have a couple of questions which were sent to us, Duncan. I'm just going to quickly run it by you. Mr. Vinod from New Delhi wrote to us, what is the tax charged on rental returns from investment in hotel properties for the CBI program? Can one instantly mortgage the property bought in Dominica to invest into a local business?
There is, in terms of taxes on a hotel, it's only VAT. In terms of the citizenship by investment, it's tax-free, the project. You cannot mortgage your property upon and the investment. You must keep your property for at least 5 years.
Okay.
3 years, sorry, for someone else who's joining, and 5 years for someone who is out of the program.
Okay. Next question. Mr. Thakur from Pune has asked, once we receive the Dominican passport, can we continue running an organization in India and route money from Dominica whenever needed for business transactions only?
That is very, very possible, yes. There is no requirement that you live in Dominica, reside in Dominica, domicile in Dominica. Just trying to get the various words that one could apply upon obtaining your Dominican citizenship.
Okay, great. And lastly, one last question that we have. Ms. Pranali from Mumbai has asked, in a hospitality project, do you guarantee rental income? If yes, what is the annual return on investment? Could you highlight on if there is much scope of setting up a freight and forwarding business, as this is our current business?
I got the first part, but certainly during the tenure of the construction, you are guaranteed a 2% return on your investment. But after the construction, during operations, it is subject, of course, to the returns.
Okay. Yeah, and could you highlight on if there is much scope of setting up a freight and forwarding business, as this is what we currently deal in? Do you have any idea on freight and forwarding?
Freight and forwarding, it is possible, but I guess you would have to study your market. As to where you're going to be directing your freight to. So you can set up any company you want in Dominica, but of course, you would have to study your market to determine whether or not your business is going to be profitable.
Yeah. Next question. How safe is Dominica in view of rising sea levels because of global warming? This is asked by Mr. Salman on the Q&A.
Dominica is considered to be very safe. Of course, given the realities of global warming, we're never sure what is the next disaster, natural disaster that's going to befall us as a country, as a nation, as a region. It is no history that it is no mystery or no, it is a fact that we are in the hurricane zone. So when the storms or the systems are developed out of the west coast of Africa and traverse coming across the Atlantic, we may or may not be hit. In terms of earthquakes, from time to time, we've had rocks, nothing severe, except for a few years ago, we had, might have been about 10 years ago, I can't remember the exact date, we had an earthquake that caused some
Is there
damage.
any scope for investment in Indian investors?
Of course, I mean, the country is open for business and the country is open for investors from India, from any part of the world. It's totally up to the individual to come visit and assess the market and assess what they might be interested in and the nature of the business that they might want to get involved in.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Duncan, for your presentation.